Do I have to review The Dying Days? Do I have to review this disgusting, loathsome, offensive, poorly written shit? Do I just have to review this utter abomination of Doctor Who fiction? Just... oh, fuck me.
You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it!
Thank you very much, Shire. Okay, everybody, here's the Skulls General Reviews, episode 12, The Dying Days by Lance Parkin. This is going to be painful. Hello everybody, this is Pitch Skull Black here, and welcome to the Skulls General Reviews, episode 12, in which today I am going to be reviewing The Dying Days by Lance Parkin. Then without further ado, let us begin this review of The Dying Days by Lance Parkin, which I'm not really looking forward to in the slightest, as you're going to find out, well, as you probably saw in the intro. Thank you once again, Shia LaBeouf. Anyways, on to the review. So up here is the new adventures, The Dying Days, Lance Parkin, and then here we've got a castle with an ice warrior in like the mist, and then there you've got the 8th Doctor. Very nice cover painting overall. And then there is the spine, The Dying Days, Lance Parkin, and the Virgin logo. This is if this was to focus. There we go, beautiful. Just, well, even this spine, even the simplest of spines, even this spine is more beautiful than this book. That's how bad this book is, in my opinion. Then we have The Dying Days, the blurb. The new adventure is a bit about Lance Parkin, who designed the cover and who did the cover painting. The cover design was by Slater Anderson, and the cover painting was by Fred Gambino. And you've got the barcode. I was about to call it bar chart, to be honest. That's why I started thinking like Crazy Frog just then. What the fuck am I doing with my life? Anyways, here we have UK prices, science fiction TV tie-in, and then here we have the blurb, which reads off: 6th of May 1997, the dying days of the 20th century. On the Mary Suriname, British astronauts are walking on the surface of Mars for the first time in over 20 years. The National Space Museum in London is the venue for a spectacular event where the great and the good celebrate a unique British achievement. And Adesham, Kent, the most dangerous man in Britain, has escaped from custody whilst being transported by helicopter. In Whitehall, the new Home Secretary is convinced that there is a plot brewing to overthrow the government. In West London, MI5 agents shut down a publishing company that got too close to the top secret organisation known as UNIT. And on a state visit to Washington, the Prime Minister prepares to make a crucial speech, totally unaware that dark forces are working against him. As the 8th Doctor and Professor Bernice Summerfield discover, all these events are connected. However, soon all will be overshadowed. This time, the Doctor's already too late. Then for the bit about Lance Parkin. Lance Parkin is the author of the highly successful series Chronology: A History of the Universe, and the groundbreaking messing adventure Cold Fusion. His first new adventure, Just War, received unprecedented acclaim for his novel, and Just War is what I want to make with Lance Parkin right now for this book. Then for the structuring of this book, we have The Dying Days, and then there we have the list of the new Virgin adventures already published. Then there we've got the new adventures, The Dying Days, Lance Parkin, and then there we've got various publishing and copyright guff, and then there we've got who this book is dedicated to, and then we've got the start of this book, and it is a 297 page long Doctor Who book, spread across an epilogue and 15 chapters. And at the end of this book we have this very lovely message here from Peter Darwell Evans, who is the publisher of the Virgin New Adventures line, and this is basically saying that the New Adventures began in 1992 with the experimental. God, I'm too disgusted by this book, I can't even speak. Publication of time trilogy, blah 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 blah. And just basically saying just a bit about the Virgin New Adventures and the Virgin Missing Adventures, and saying that the Virgin books with the Doctor coming to an end and the New Adventures of Beneath Summerfield are starting up is basically a summary of that. It's quite a very well written piece of it's very well written, this kind of love letter to the fans of the Virgin New Adventures, in my opinion. So if you want to read that, there you go. It's a very nice little touch to this book. And now, what is the general consensus and my own personal thoughts and opinions on The Dying Days by Lance Parkin? On Goodreads, this book has somehow gotten a 4.2 out of 5. With lots of positive reviews. 4 stars, 3 stars, or mostly 4 stars, loads of 5 stars, and loads of 4 stars, and generous, and quite a few 3 stars here and there. So yeah, it appears this book is extremely well liked overall, but I just can't begin to agree with the general consensus at all. This book, in my opinion, is utter dog shit, in my opinion. This is so bad, in my personal opinion. I'll get onto that in a minute. I'll get onto that in a minute. Starting off with the plot. The plot for this story isn't groundbreaking, outstanding, or anything like that in any ways. It's a bit basic, but if you were to take out elements of, let me see here, the classic series story, The Ambassadors of Death, the new series stories, the Christmas Invasion, the Sontarn Stratagem and the Poisoned Sky, and also, well, mainly the Poisoned Sky out of those last 2 episodes I mentioned, and also to a certain extent, well, the Invasion, the 1968 Cyberman story, you would practically have practically have the entire plot of The Dying Days. It's basically a mashup of those stories, and just with the addition of the Ice Warriors and different Doctor and different main cast, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for some reason the action for me was well written, but it didn't really engage me in any way. It's a bit like the Face Eater again, this 8th Doctor novel here again, which if you've seen my review of, you'll know that I really like the kind of first part of this book and like the end of it, but the middle bit of it just didn't grab me for whatever reason. It's like that all over again, but with the action in this book. I could see it was well written, but it just didn't engage me in any way, and I just found it just really dull. And you may be thinking, but a culmination of stories isn't necessarily a bad thing. Well, it isn't, but it was just an overall dull book, which didn't really engage me much overall. So that, on top of a fairly unimaginative storyline, is already bad marks for this book. And like I said, the action didn't engage me whatsoever. The characters were very well characterised in this book. The Doctor was really good. Units make an appearance in this book, which I think, yeah, the blurb did give away. Units was good, and the Beneath Summerfield as well was good. So the characters overall in this book were really good. So overall the characters were really good in this book, and this book was fairly well written to a point. But it's overall not a really good book in my opinion. If the negative I'm about to state didn't happen, this book would have gotten like a 4.5 out of 10. But this book is gone all the way down to a 2 out of 10 for me, simply because of the characterisation of these things here, the Ice Warriors. Awesome design of him on the front cover of this book, but do not be deceived by that. I feel that Lance Parkin went full retard, literally, to write the Ice Warriors. I mean, just look at his profile picture on Goodreads. Just look at that face, he knew he fucked up. Just look at his face. That is a face of, oh, I know I fucked up with the Ice Warriors in the dying days. Well, how badly did he fuck up the Ice Warriors in the dying days? Well, pretty badly. They were okay in like the first half of this book, but from what I read of the second half, because this is again because this is also a did not finish book for me, because I just couldn't handle how stupidly Lance Parkin wrote the Ice Warriors in this book. Okay, so the Ice Warriors in the first half were pretty good, not the best. I feel like they were better in the Seeds of Death personally, but they were okay for the first half. But then, like I said, Lance Parkin went full retard later on, quite literally, for the Ice Warriors later on in the book, because he seemed to didn't know how to write the Ice Warriors at all. I mean, God, it is so stupid what he did with the Ice Warriors. First of all, he made one of them the King of England. I'm not joking. The leader of the Ice Warriors in this book, called Zanal or something like that, XZNAL, which is something I don't even try and pronounce, was just like made the King of England in this book. And it's made even worse because there was like ritualistic clothes to put on him and whatnot, and they kept ripping, and there was like this ceremonial oil that they had to rub over the Ice Warriors' breasts and stuff to continue the ritual. So it was a stupid scene, and personally I feel like it was like one of the worst things I have ever experienced in a Doctor Who story, period. It was so awful, this moment in the book, but at the same time it was like the funniest thing I have ever seen. Seriously, I was laughing so hard at this book. When I went to bed that night, I was still laughing for like 10 minutes straight before I stopped laughing. It was so bad. But Ice Warriors becoming the King of England, you may think that, oh, the Ice Warriors surely couldn't get worse in this book. Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but unfortunately they do. Because for whatever fucking reason, Lance Parkin decides that the Ice Warriors can use fucking hang gliders. These things using fucking hang gliders. I'm sorry, but just that is like the dumbest thing I have ever experienced in a Doctor Who book. Ice Warriors using hang gliders. I'm sorry, but what the actual fuck, Lance Parkin? Just, oh my god, that is so fucking dumb. Oh my god. And then you may be also thinking, oh, surely Ice Warriors using hang gliders can't get worse than that. Well then, I'm not sure about this, but due to the later on in the book, there's this showing this character crying. It isn't. I don't think it was strictly implied that it was an Ice Warrior. Well, I think it was, because he's on like this Ice Warrior spaceship at the same time as Zanal, the King of England now. Oh, so stupid. But I'm pretty sure it was an Ice Warrior, and that character started crying. I wasn't too sure if it was an Ice Warrior, but due to the name, I'm pretty sure it was an Ice Warrior. So yeah, the Ice Warriors were characterised so stupidly by Lance Parkin in this book. One of them became the King of England, some of them using hang gliders for whatever fucking reason, and one of them actually crying. Yes, an Ice Warrior actually cries in this book. My anger towards Craig Hinton for what he did in Millennium Rights is like a mild thunderstorm. My anger to Lance Parkin and what he did to the Ice Warriors in the dying days is like a fucking nuclear bomb going off. Words can't even begin to describe how angry I am at Lance Parkin for the Ice Warriors in this book. They're characterised so horribly. He just takes this brilliant Doctor Who monster, waters them down, and just like makes them so stupid and so dumb. And that's the best way to describe the writing for the most part. The most part of the Ice War is just dumb. So yeah, overall I didn't like the Dying Days too much at all. This is once again another Doctor Who book that I couldn't finish, just simply because I couldn't take the Ice War. I just completely lost it with the Ice Warriors and how stupidly they were written in this book. Seriously, the other night I was walking backwards and forwards in my room, pacing up and down just to try and calm myself down after one of those Ice Warriors started crying. I was so angry with Lance Parkin at this point of this book. Well, I just wanted to throw this book across the room. It was just so utterly pitiful. So, roll over at The Dying Days. The Dying Days is another Doctor Who book that I didn't finish, and overall I would give The Dying Days by Lance Parkin a 2 out of 10. I was extremely lucky to get this loathsome piece of shit for only £35. If you get this book for like £70 to £100, you've been ripped the hell off. I mean, unless you're getting it for like collection's sake. Well, if you're just going for this for collection's sake, I suppose it depends whether or not you'll be willing to spend that much money on it. But this isn't a really good book overall, and it's definitely not worth the £100 you could spend on this book. So The Dying Days overall gets a 2 out of 10 and is a very disappointing book, considering that it's supposed to be the grand encore, the final Doctor Who book in the Virgin New Adventures line. It's just so disappointing, this book. So The Dying Days overall gets a 2 out of 10. And that pretty much concludes the Skulls General Reviews episode 12, my review of The Dying Days by Lance Parkin. So if you comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pitch Skull Black dematerializing.